So here we have a lady who is on dialysis who says that high protein is not automatically healthy, especially long term. And looking at her in this state, in this hospital, it's very easy to think that high protein can actually damage your kidneys. After all, she's on dialysis. She's saying that high protein did this to her. So looking at the comments, they tell quite a different story. We have this user who says she did not get kidney issues from protein. It's from drinking 3 Red Bulls per day for 14 years, and she explained this in an older video. And someone replies, that is not what this video is saying. This video is saying that high protein cost her kidney health, and that's why she's on dialysis. And someone else says all your posts are the same different subject, because she posts a lot about kidney health and the things that led her to losing her kidney function, and they are different. And someone else asks the question that most of us will have in mind when we see these, and that's how much protein is too much protein though? How much protein will get you to a point where you need dialysis? And as you would expect, we have people getting scared after seeing these, and we have someone saying, man, I don't even want to eat anything. Everything is toxic in the USA. And someone follows this with, I have been consuming 230 grams of protein for 30 years, no problem here. And someone else asks, how much were you eating? If you look at the comment section, we have all kinds of comments. There are people who are afraid to eat. There are people who are wondering just how much protein is bad for them. And there are people who are saying that she's been posting this over and over again, and that her kidney issues are not really from the protein, but from Red Bull, which, is an energy drink. And that brings us to our topic for today. You see, we have spent years being told that protein is the quickest way to weight loss. But lately, the pendulum has swung so hard the other way. Now it seems that you cannot post a steak or a protein smoothie without someone in the comments warning you about organ stress or even bone leaching. And this has created this weird health anxiety, as we have seen in the comments, or as you may have seen in other comments on TikTok or other types of social media. We are scared to eat too little protein, but we are also terrified of eating too much, and we don't even know what too much is at this point. How much protein will get you to dialysis? How much protein will put you in hospital? So today we are going to look at the dark side, or what people claim is the dark side when it comes to high protein diets. And we're going to look at whether protein is actually damaging your organs, or we're just fearing yet another macro for nothing. Is this like the low fat, no fat diet that we saw in the early 2000s? And now we've come to realize that healthy fats are good for us. Is protein being demonized for nothing? Hey everyone, I'm Daisy, aka D, and on this channel we don't just look at what's trending. Instead, we look at what is true. And in my last video, we talked about why you don't need these massive amounts of protein in order to lose weight. But today we're tackling the flip side, which is the claim that a higher protein diet is inherently harmful to your health. And instead of the usual breakdown where I usually have 3 sections where I have why we believe the myth, what science says, and what we should do, I will follow a different format for this video. And I want to show you how a medical fact has been twisted into this nutritional myth that we're now seeing on social media. So where did people go wrong when it comes to protein? Where did people start thinking that protein would actually put them in the hospital? Let's talk about where the kidney scare actually began. As you have seen on this channel, many myths actually have a grain of truth, right? And this one actually started in a hospital ward. And as a medical drama fan who is actively binge watching Grey's Anatomy right now, learning that this came from the hospital was a highlight to my day. Not because I'm happy that people are in hospital, but because it's kind of like I'm also now in Grey's Anatomy as one of the surgeons by just covering these. So what about protein had people worrying from the hospital wards? For decades, doctors would put patients with pre-existing kidney conditions on low protein diets. The emphasis here is on people with pre-existing kidney conditions. And that is because with these people, their kidneys will struggle when it comes to filtering out nitrogen waste. And by going on these low protein diets, they will put less of a strain on their kidneys. But here is where the logic broke. When marketers and wellness gurus saw just how wonderful these low protein diets were for people's health, they took this rule that was invented or, was prescribed for the sick people, and then they applied it to the healthy people. It's like saying, people who have broken legs should not run. And then now you apply that to people who have legs that are actually capable of running, and then you say then everyone should not run just because people with broken legs should not run. But were they right in applying this to us? As ridiculous as that sounds, were they right in doing that? Study after study, including meta-analysis of randomized trials, show that in healthy adults, a high protein intake does not actually negatively impact their kidney function. In fact, your kidneys are very able to adapt to the kind of diet that you put them on, the kind of strain that you put them on. But again, note here that the emphasis is on healthy adults. In healthy adults, this adaptation is possible. They can handle their load. But for people with pre-existing kidney conditions, then yes, a low protein diet would actually be beneficial, and that's why doctors will use it. Now let's talk about the acidic bone myth. And this one sounds like science fiction. So where did people come up with this idea that, your bones could be acidic? And what exactly does this entail? Well, the idea here is that protein makes your blood acidic. And then your body melts your bones to release calcium to neutralize the acidity in your system. Yes, that's an actual theory that's out there. Okay, it's a bit more technical than that, but generally speaking, that's what people think. If you boil it down to the statement itself, it's your body becomes acidic, your body melts down your bones to neutralize the acidity in your system. Yes, acidic bones. Now, if these were true, then every athlete and every fitness influencer that we see online or even offline will have the skeleton, that will be so weak, a skeleton that will be so weak that, we could compare it to several things, but that will be wrong. But, it will be very, very weak. It will not be able to carry their weight. These people will just be breaking their bones. Their bones will be so brittle, they'll just be breaking everywhere from the smallest of strains. After all, these guys eat very, very high protein diets. Many of them average 2 grams per kilogram of their body weight. That's a high protein diet. And if protein does actually make your system, your blood acidic, these guys will be working with hydrochloric acid running in their bodies, and their bones will have to be neutralized. They'll have to be melted so they could neutralize all that acid. But of course, the opposite is true. Protein actually increases calcium absorption and it stimulates growth hormones, both of which make your bones actually stronger. So the acid ash hypothesis has been proven wrong by science, but that does not mean that this myth is not haunting the halls of TikTok. We've had it and we will probably continue hearing it for a very long time. Now, can protein harm us though? Because at this point I'm saying high protein diet is not bad for you, but people actually fear protein. So can it actually harm us?
One unexpected drink that causes kidney failure that is common amongst people is creatine and protein shakes. Now, when I say this, I don't mean that the first time or second time, or even 1 year of drinking protein shakes, you get kidney failure. But years and years of drinking protein shakes and creatine can actually cause kidney failure and can get you on dialysis. So stay away from protein shakes if your body can't handle it. Not everyone can handle it. Only certain people can take it for years and years and not even get kidney failure. But it is actually one of the most common, unexpected drinks that I see people get kidney failure with. So, stay away if your body can't handle it.
He's also another dialysis patient. We have this first person who says, I was afraid he was going to say alcohol, Fuchs. Okay, we are good guys. Okay, that's a joke, but yes, alcohol is also not good for you, but this is not about alcohol. I thought I should add a joke in there because this topic is a bit grim, yeah? So, yeah, let's just laugh at the alcohol thing. And then Jeff says, almost 30 years of both, no issues yet. And in the video, the guy says that many people are able to do this, but there are people who cannot handle it. And someone else says, 20 years on both protein and creatine, check my kidney and everything is good. Kidney still looks new. And someone asks a question that I would also be interested in finding out is, how do you know when your kidney cannot handle it? And someone else says something interesting. She actually says, interesting, dialysis clinics actually want you on protein shakes. I did not know these. And someone says, the ones I've seen them prescribe or recommend are more like a meal supplement shake with protein in it, which is around 8 to 15 grams of protein. This is different from the dedicated protein shakes with 20 to 35 grams of protein. I'm not really going to comment on that because I don't really know whether dialysis clinics encourage this, but someone else said they encourage you to eat protein supplements when you are on dialysis. So this person is also backing up the first comment. And here someone comes in with, because they want to KILLYOU, and then someone says, I don't trust them. If you know anything about dialysis and whether you're supposed to be taking protein shakes, you can add that in the comments, but that's what I saw. So can protein actually harm you? Because as you can see, he's saying that protein is bad for you. We saw that in the first video, she also said that. But in that case, we came to realize that her kidney issues stemmed from something other than protein. It was because of energy drinks. But let's say you're eating a lot of protein, can it actually harm you? So now let's talk about the real risks, which are some of the things that people do not talk about when it comes to protein. I'm not going to tell you that eating 400 grams of protein is fine, but the risks are not what you think. It's not about organ failure. It's not about your bones melting to account for the acidity in your system. Instead, it is about nutrient displacement. The thing is, when you become obsessed with one macro, then you crowd out other nutrients that are also important for your health. Let's take fiber for example. If your plate is 90% chicken, then there's no room for the fiber that your microbiome needs to thrive. Beyond fiber, you also run the risk of a micronutrient gap. You might be getting all your amino acids, but you're missing the phytonutrients that are found in complex carbs and fats. So while it is okay to eat a diet that's high in protein, it is important to watch out for these gaps. Now let's talk about the solution, because we always do that here. So what are you supposed to do? In my Better in 90 program, which is designed to help women lose weight and keep it off for years and years and years, we do not treat protein like a villain or like a magic pill. It's not going to lift your bones, but it's not going to cure all your problems and help you lose all that weight right now. Instead, we treat protein like a building block. So here's what you can do to include protein in your weight loss journey without running the risk of putting your health at risk. Yes, risk and risk. First, you need to stop the fear. If your kidneys are healthy, that extra scoop of collagen or that extra chicken breast is not going to make you sick. Secondly, use the +1 rule. For every high protein source that you eat, match it with a high fiber source, such as grains, seeds, or legumes. In this way, you avoid the constipation and dehydration issues that people often mistake for protein damage. If you look at the videos online, you'll see people saying, oh, these are the signs that you're eating too much protein, and then they'll have, too much gas in there, you're dehydrated, you're not using the washroom as much, and when you do use it, you're not going number 2. So if you're eating enough fiber, if you're including all these other foods in your diet, then you can avoid, those problems. Third, do not forget to check the package. While high protein is fine, high sodium and high nitrates, which are often found in deli meat, your bacon, these are not okay. So weight is possible. Focus on getting your protein from minimally processed food sources. In conclusion, you do not need to fear protein, but you should not rely on it alone either. Your body adapts very easily, but it also thrives on variety and not just amino acids. So if you have been holding back on your weight loss and your fitness goals because you're afraid of damaging your kidneys or any other organs in your body because of eating a diet that's high in protein, I hope this clears the air. That said, I would like to hear your comments on this topic. Have you ever felt scared that you were eating too much protein, or too little? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining me on yet another myth-busting video. Don't forget to subscribe for next week's myth, and I will see you then. Bye bye.